everyone and welcome to today's video, which is finally my book haul. I swear I've been talking about doing this video for so long. I did already film it once, but the lighting was terrible. So bad. Literally all the footage, which took me an hour to film, was unusable. So we're doing it again. I've counted and I've got 62 books today to do my little haul on. Actually, it's not a very little haul. This, I think, is the biggest haul I've ever done on my channel. We've got a lot. I've got books that I got for my birthday, I've got books that I've bought recently, books that I got secondhand at like book fairs or at op shops, and then I also have a few books that I've been sent as well. So there's lots to get through, obviously, since there's 62, and I will go into the books that my parents got me first. The first two books I got are the second and third books in the Dangerous Damsel series. So we have The League of Gentle Young Witches, which is about witches, obviously, but I absolutely loved the first book in this series. It's like a cozy fantasy with magical elements, and it's so funny as well. It's set in Regency era, so the language that is used is quite like formal and old, like think Bridgerton, but it's actually written in a way that's really funny and really engaging, and I really enjoyed that, so I'm so excited to continue these ones. As I said, this one follows witches, and I believe it's also enemies to lovers. And then this third one is about spies that team up, which I think is also enemies to lovers. It says two rival spies, one fake marriage till death, and pirates, in brackets, do us part. So in this world, there was pirates and witches and assassins, looks like, but the first book was based around pirates that had magical flying houses. It was so crazy, so good though. So very excited to get to these. The covers are also so cute, just an added bonus, but I love it so much and I'm so excited to continue the series. The next book I got is one that's super duper chunky. It is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, and I don't know what could possibly be in this book to make it so thick, and the second one is even bigger, so it's kind of scary. But this series, it also has like a few different like spin-offs, so there's Binding 13, but then there's also ones about the number 6 and also the number 7, because it's about like a rugby team, I think. So it's like a found family and they're all in a rugby team, so I'm assuming that the numbers are like the jersey numbers. It's set in Ireland, which I've never actually... Oh, I have actually, that's a lie. I was gonna say I've never actually read a book set in Ireland, but I have. Normal People. It's back there. It's there. But I've also heard this book is really sad, so I'm kind of nervous. Liv from the book club loved this book and immediately had to read the second one, so I'm hoping that I will like it as well, because it is quite a big series, and if I do like it, then I will be happy that they're quite thick, because then I get to spend a lot of time with all the characters. But I'm hoping that it won't be too hard to read. Next, I have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I actually just read and I loved it. Obviously, I got this in anticipation of the new movie, which I also watched and loved. But this is the prequel to The Hunger Games about President Snow when he was younger. So it's 64 years in the past before the first Hunger Games book, and it follows the 10th Hunger Games. And also, if you have watched the movie, since this video will probably be out like a month after the movie's been released, and you haven't read the book, I would strongly suggest you do, because in the movie you really miss out on Snow's inner dialogue. Obviously, because you're not reading his thoughts as you would in the book, but I feel like the movie, although great, did miss a few of those essential points that I thought were really important in the book. So I would recommend you read it. Next, I got Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I'm excited to read this. Again, have heard great things. Also, I've heard mixed opinions about this one as well, but it is an ice hockey romance. I haven't read an ice hockey sports romance before, which I know is well loved among the sports romance subgenre. So I am hoping for good things. This is actually a series, and the third one also just got announced really recently as well, and that looks so cute. I love the cover. So I'm hoping that I'll like it, because like they all look so cute together. And each of the books in the series follows a different player in the ice hockey team. I think it just looks so fun. Ice hockey, like come on. Next I have Powerless by Lauren Roberts, which I have been anticipating for so long. Look how good this looks. This is a fantasy book with an enemies to lovers romance, and I'm sure you've been hearing all about it across all social media platforms because everyone's been loving it. And I'm just so excited to read it because I've been following Lauren on TikTok whilst she was writing this book, so it's crazy just to see it published and in my hands. So I'm so excited to read it. I can't wait. I'm hoping to do a reading vlog on it as well because I want to share my thoughts since it's quite a popular book. Next I have a book that I'm surprised that I haven't read yet, and you might also be surprised that I haven't read yet considering how much I love this author and her other books, but that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I love Leigh Bardugo. Why have I not read this? That's my question, and there is no answer. Like, what? I'm so excited to read this though. It's a dark academia with supernatural elements as well. Ghosts I think are included, but it involves like secret societies in Yale, and I think there's also necromancy, which is so interesting. Next I have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I've read one Margaret Rogerson book before and I really enjoyed that, so I'm so excited to get to this one. It seems absolutely perfect. It's set in a library with dangerous grimoires. I think yes. That is what I think. Like, hello? And the cover? I'm hoping I'll love this because I also really want to get the little short story which is called Mysteries of Thorn Manor, because that cover is so cute and the book is so tiny. Like, I want it, I need it. So I hope I like this so that I can get that. Next I have Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. So I'm assuming obviously that this is a Frankenstein retelling, so Angelica I guess is the doctor in this case and the monster she makes will be her husband, but it looks interesting. One of my friends, Chloe, really enjoyed this and I really enjoyed The Hating Game, which is also by this author, so I'm hoping for good things. I had never read a Frankenstein retelling before and I love Frankenstein, so I'm hoping that this will be good. Next I have a book that I've heard very mixed opinions on, but I'm hoping that I will like it because I've also heard it be compared to Gossip Girl, and that is Magnolia Parks. I'm very excited. Apparently it's meant to be really drama filled. I love some drama, so I'm hoping for great things. I do, however, have the cover with the feet on it, which is not my first choice, but the original cover to get in Australia, it's like $35, which I feel like is way too much for a book for me. So that was a pass, but I do have this. I mean, it's not terrible. It's got some gold foiling on the top with the author name and on the spine, so that's cute. And I like the colour on the spine as well, but why the feet? I just don't understand. They're fancy shoes. I do like those pink shoes. Yeah, we'll see. I hope I like this book because it is quite a big series as well. And I think there's 4 books out right now, but there's like 2 more or something on the way. Not too sure how that all works out because it's kind of like 2 series based on different characters, but they're intertwined because they're in the same friend group. I don't really know. If you know, let me know, but I'm excited. I'm hoping that I will love it. Next I have Flawless by Elsie Silver, and I got this because I'm hoping to get into the small town romance genre. I think this is a good place to start because I know so many people love this series. And I would just like to say, with this cover, I don't know if you can see, but like that background on the light pink kind of looks a bit dirty. So when it came in the mail, I was like kind of scared. I was like, oh no, they gave me a damaged book. It's so dirty. That's so sad. It's not. It's literally just the print. I don't know if you can see that, but it's meant to be like that. So if you get this book and you're worried about that too, don't worry, you don't have a dirty book. It's just the cover. But I am really excited to read this. I believe the male main character is a bull rider, which is so interesting. I've never read anything like that before. So I am quite excited to get to this, and this is a 5-book series, so again, hoping I like it so that I can continue the whole series because they all look so cute as well. Like, I love the pastel colours of this series, and I'm just hoping I love it. I swear I'm saying that with all these books, but of course I'm hoping I love them because I did ask for them. Next I have Twisted Love, which is the first book in the Twisted series by Anna Huang, and I have actually read King of Wrath and King of Pride. And I know people usually read this series first because it was more popular and because some of the characters do cross over into like the Kings of Sin series, but obviously I don't know yet because I haven't read this book. I have heard though that this one is everyone's like least favourite book out of the Twisted series. So, I mean, we'll see. Next I'll move on to the books that my friends gave me for my birthday. And first I have a trilogy which I'm so excited about because I've been wanting to read this for so long. And I've been seeing so many people actually getting into these books as well recently. So I'm excited that it's popular again. It's like superheroes, with like hidden identities, and I was like, that just sounds amazing, and if there's like a romance subplot as well, I will love it. And that is the Renegades series by Marissa Meyer. So we do have Renegades, Arch Enemies, and Supernova. I've been seeing Rachel Catherine, and I also think Sarah Caroli also read it, but I think they all liked it, so I'm really hoping for great things. It's like dystopian vibes, sci-fi vibes, because it's superheroes, and I'm ready for it. I am. It just looks so good. So thank you to my friend Ruby for giving me these. I'm so excited to read them. Literally cannot wait. Next, my friend Scarlett got me The Song of Achilles, which I am scared to read because she did give it to me with a packet of tissues. So that means that I'm gonna cry. I know she cried, and I know that she couldn't read another book for a couple months afterwards because she was in like a book hangover from the ending of this book. I'm somewhat scared, but I do also kind of know the story because it is based on Greek myth. So I'm like concerned, but I kind of know what's coming, but I'm also really scared. Next, my friend Montana gave me this second book in the Crave series, which is Crush, and I'm so excited to read this. I read Crave back in February and really enjoyed it. It is a vampire book. If you couldn't tell, there's blood dripping everywhere. But this book is set in like a supernatural boarding school where there's shifters, witches, and vampires. It's super cheesy, but it's super fun as well. So I am excited to continue this series. I do believe it's like 6 or 7 books long, so it's a big commitment, and they are quite thick, but I found it really enjoyable, that first one. So I'm expecting that I'll still enjoy the series. And then she also got me Lightla, which you might recognize because it was really popular on TikTok, and that is because there was lots of controversy surrounding it. The author Alex Aster, before the book even came out, secured a movie deal, which is absolutely crazy because no one had read the book yet. They didn't even know it was going to be a great success, but I think she did get lots of pre-orders because of how good her marketing was on TikTok. I don't know how she did it, but she did, and that's great. Like, I'm so happy for her, but I've heard that people were a little disappointed. But I'm pretty sure she was comparing it to The Hunger Games, which I guess is like a big thing to compare it to because The Hunger Games was amazing. Absolute perfection in my eyes. So I guess if it didn't live up to that, people were disappointed, but I'm excited to see what I think. Again, maybe I'll do a little reading vlog so I can share my full thoughts. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. But yeah, Light Luck. I believe the second one just came out. I don't remember the name of it, but it does have like blue on the cover. I saw it at Target the other day and I was like, oh, didn't even know there was a second one. So I wonder if this is going to leave on a cliffhanger or anything. Next, from my friend Cassidy, she picked me out 3 books, and the first one is The Rom-Com Agenda, which I actually haven't really heard anything about, but the cover looks super cute and I'm always excited to read a rom-com. So I'm looking forward to this. Then the next one I'm actually super excited about because it is the second in a book series that I've already mentioned earlier, and it is Wildfire. I'm so excited to read this. Literally, look how cute the cover is. I love this. This is the second one to Icebreaker, if you didn't already know. I believe the series is called Maple Hills or something. Maple Hill series? I don't really know what it's called. But this one is set in a summer camp and the main characters are like the camp leaders and they're not allowed to be in relationships. There was like a no fraternization policy, so the characters couldn't be together, but they want to be. So we all know it's gonna end out well, I guess. I mean, look at it, it's so cute. So I'm assuming all will work out. They can't lead me astray with a cute cover, surely. And then next I have Wreck the Halls, which is actually my current read. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, it is a Christmas book, and this one is by Tessa Bailey. I do know that Tessa Bailey has another Christmas book called Window Shopping, which I haven't read. There was very mixed opinions on that book as well. So I'm hoping that this one will actually be good. I'm around page like 90 at the moment and I'm liking it, so I'm hoping for good things. And then my friend Mackenzie got me the first 3 books in the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. So this is a huge series. There's like 10 books. And I'm not really sure how it works because they're 2 interconnected series. You have the Addicted series, which I believe these are the first 3. But then there's also the Calloway Sisters series, and I believe they're intertwined. So there's a reading order where they're all mixed up, and I'm not super sure what that is. Let me know if you've read these books and these are the first 3, because I actually want to make sure that I am starting with the correct books. But I do have Addicted to You, Ricochet, and Addicted for now. So I'm hoping that is the first 3 because I've been wanting to read this series for a long time and I'm hoping I'll like it. Once again, I keep saying that, but I'm hoping I'll like all of these books, but especially these ones because I've heard great things and because it is, again, such a big series that then I'll have like lots of content to read about. But next we'll go into the books that I've been sent recently. First I'll go through the books that I read in September that I haven't hauled yet. The first one being 19 Steps by Millie Bobby Brown. I do have a reading vlog on this with a review attached, so if you want to see my full thoughts on Millie's historical fiction book, then you can go check that out. But next I have Bright Young Women, which surprisingly was based on true events. If you saw my thoughts in my September reading wrap up, I was shocked because this is actually based on a real serial killer and I wasn't expecting that at all because I'm not really one for true crime, so I didn't see the signs of who it was about until right at the end. So I was horrified when I learned who this was actually about. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if you are a fan of true crime and you started this book, you would probably recognize some of the things if you know the cases, but kind of creepy but very interesting. Next I have The Changing Man, which is like a YA mystery with like supernatural kind of sci-fi twists, and this is set in like a fancy boarding school as well. Then next, moving on to the books that I read in October, we have Unholy Terrors, which is a YA fantasy with like a forbidden romance. Then we have A Holly Jolly Ever After, which is very obviously a Christmas book. This is like a Christmas romance set around the filming of a Christmas movie. And then we have Starling House, which is based around this spooky house called Starling House. And I really enjoyed the writing for this as well, and it does have pictures, which is an added bonus. How fun is that? But these next 2 books I haven't actually talked about, so the first book that I have here was very kindly sent by HarperCollins, and it is Cain's Jawbone, which if you don't know what this is, it's like a mystery book where there's 100 pages, and I don't know if you can see that, but on the inside there's a little dotted line because you're supposed to cut all the pages out because they're all jumbled up. So you have to rearrange the 100 pages, try and get the correct order to solve the murder mystery. How fun does that sound? It also sounds really stressful because it's supposed to be really hard, and I think only 3 people have actually solved it. And I'm actually planning on doing a video of trying to solve this, and it might even take a few weeks because I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. My gosh. On the back it says 6 murders, 100 pages, millions of possible combinations, but only one is correct. Can you solve the mystery? I don't know if I can, but I will give it a good try. But next, I actually went to a picnic to get this book early, and this one doesn't actually come out till February, so I am really excited to read it, and that is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and this is the proof copy, so it does have that die-cut page with the claw marks because it is a supernatural romance. It's got werewolves and vampires. So that is the cover on the inside. I'm so excited to read this. Obviously, I'm a big lover of Ali Hazelwood, but she does mainly write romance fiction based in like a STEM setting, so I'm really excited to read a paranormal romance by her, which I do believe she has experience writing because she did used to post a lot of these types of romance books on Wattpad, I think, so I'm hoping for good things. Next, we'll move on to some of the books that I've bought myself recently. The first one being the 3rd book in the Crave series, which is Covet. I am so excited. Obviously, as I was saying with Crush, I can't wait to continue this series because I enjoyed the first one so much. It was such a fun time. So again, this one is quite thick, but more to read, more to enjoy. Then we have another sequel in a series, and this one is one that I've been excited for so long, ever since I read the first book and did a reading vlog on it, and that is Iron Flame. As I was saying, I loved Fourth Wing so much, so I'm so excited to continue this book series. It is a little bigger than Fourth Wing, it is quite chunky, but I'm so excited to jump back into this world because obviously in Fourth Wing there was a big cliffhanger at the end, so I'm excited to pick up where we left off and find out more about what's happening in this world. Then this next book I bought from Dymocks because it had a little price tag on it for $9.99, and that is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. And this price is like cheaper than you would get at like Big W and Target and Kmart. So of course I had to get it. I was a bit confused though, because I was like, is it damaged? Why is it so cheap? But it's not damaged. So I'm so excited that I found this. But I did realize when I got home that this is actually the second book in the series. So I did actually have to go out to Big W and buy the first book, which is Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did. These books are in the same series. I think they're companion novels, but the series is called Lancaster Prep. I believe then that it's like a boarding school, which, you know, I love a boarding school. And this series I think is also like quite long as well. I think there's 5 books now, so I'm quite excited to get to these. And then next, I finally got myself a physical copy of one of my favorite books, which I read earlier on in the year as well, which is Die For You by Lauren Jackson. If you didn't already know, Lauren Jackson is a friend of mine because we co-run the Book Talk Book Club on Instagram with a few of our other friends. So I was so excited to finally see physical copies of her book in bookshops. Like, so exciting. I got to read this early and I loved it so much. It's a vampire romance. Hello? That's all you really need to know. It was so good. And I'm so excited because this is going to be a series as well, so I can't wait to read more. But like, hello. Hello? Die For You. Yes. And I will read you the slogan bit on the top here. It says, a human searching for her sister, a grumpy vampire bodyguard, and a predator on the hunt. What could go wrong? You'll have to read it to find out. But next I got another book that is a sequel in a series, and that is Daisy Hates, which again, we've got the feet on the cover. But this is, if you couldn't already tell by the feet, the second book in the Magnolia Parks universe. As I was saying before, it is like 2 characters that have their own books. So there it's Magnolia and Daisy, and they're interconnected. So I do think you have to read them in order, but I'll let you know once I read them. I'm not really too sure how it works, but ta-da! Daisy Hates. Then I have The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I'm so excited to read this. It's a romance with a sci-fi twist because it follows a time warp, so our characters are stuck in a 7-year slip, surprisingly enough. So like one of the characters is from the past and one's in the present, and then there's 7 years in between them. I don't know how they get to see each other, but they do. I'm interested to see how it works out, but I've heard so many people enjoying this recently, so I can't wait to get to it. Then I bought myself The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, and I've only read one Christina Lauren book before, and it was In a Holidays, which is a Christmas book, but I didn't love that because that's a time warp, isn't it? I thought I'd never read a book in a time warp. Does that count? That was like repeating the same day. Is that a time warp? I don't really know. But I did not enjoy that Christmas book just because it was quite repetitive with the repeating the same day over and over again. But I'm hoping it was just because I didn't like that storyline. So I'm excited to try this. But I got this because it was $6 at Kmart, so I couldn't pass up that opportunity. I believe this one is set around like a dating show. So it's kind of like Bachelor vibes. True Love Experiment. Yeah. And the rest of the books I all got secondhand because I went to a book fair, and then I also went up shopping. So we'll go through the ones that I got at the book fair first. The first one being The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I have read one book by Lucy Foley before, and that was The Paris Apartment, and I really enjoyed that one, so I'm excited to get to this. And this one is about a murder that happens on this remote island at a destination wedding. So it says on the back, each has a secret, each has a motive. Off the windswept Irish coast, another book set in Ireland. Guests gather for the wedding of the year. Old friends, past grudges, happy families, hidden jealousies, 13 guests and one body. One guest won't leave this wedding alive. Sounds very good, and I'm very excited to read this because I do love a good mystery. Next I have In a Jam by Kate Canterbury, and this is actually self-published. So I was really surprised to see this at the book fair because I'm sure this would have been quite expensive for the person that donated it to actually buy it because it is self-published. But I have heard good things about this book. I think Steph here on YouTube also really liked it, and she got the sequel recently. But In a Jam, I don't really know too much about what it's about. I think it's like a single dad trope, but I'm really hoping that it'll be great. I haven't actually read a whole lot of self-published books, so I'm excited to see how this will go. Next we have American Royals, which is about, as it sounds, American royals. So it's kind of like a what if George Washington became a king, and then his family were all royals. So it's the Washingtons, which have ruled America for almost 250 years. I'm assuming there'll be lots of drama, and I'm all for it, but the only thing I don't like about this book is its physical appearance. The pink sprayed edges, I feel like it looks rather tacky. I don't know. I feel like I'm not a lover of a sprayed edge unless it's like a stenciled edge. If it's got a picture on the side, that's fine. But like the color, especially when it fades as well, it just doesn't look great. It looks like someone's just gone at it with a highlighter. Looking past the sprayed edges, I'm hoping that the actual storyline will be really good because it sounds super interesting. I can just already see it having so much drama. Next, I have a dystopian book, which I'm really in the mood for recently, especially with the new Hunger Games movie coming out, and that is Legend by Marie Lu. And this was actually quite popular on TikTok a couple of years ago, but it did come out a few years before it even got popular on TikTok. This copy that I have in particular is really quite damaged. The matte cellar glaze is like peeling off the back, which is not what you want to see, but it was $3, so we're gonna look past that. So it's not in the prettiest condition, but it's what's on the inside that counts. It also sounds like it could have some water damage. Maybe $3 was a bit too much to pay for this. It's very damaged. Look, the book fair, they've been upping their prices recently since everyone's getting into reading all of a sudden, and now the books that I used to get for $3 when it was in perfect condition, they're now bad condition for $3. I don't understand, but we're gonna have to deal. Next, I have a book that I'm so excited I found, and that is The Secret Circle. I don't know if anyone else watched this show. I loved it so much, but it got cancelled after one season, so I never got to continue this story, but this book in particular is actually part 2. So I don't know if this is going to be like a continuation of where the first season of the show left off, or if this is like the second half of the first season. I don't really know how it's going to work out, but I'm interested to see more of those characters in that storyline because I loved it so much, and I'm so sad that I got cancelled, but it was like 10 years ago now nearly, so it's not coming back. I should just deal with it and know that it's gone forever, but like, oh, what a loss. That was such a great show. Let me know if you've watched that too because I loved it so much. Then we have Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, which I don't really know about, but again, it was cheap. This one was $5, so I thought I will buy it because I remember hearing lots about it, and I think this is a trilogy as well, but it's a fantasy book, and if I'm in the mood for a first in a fantasy series, I will give it a go. Then we have The Testaments, which I believe is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, which I haven't read. So I'm hoping to get to that soon because I feel like it's somewhat a classic, and I also really want to watch the show as well. So I'm hoping to get to that soon, and then I can read this, but I don't even know what I can say about this because I don't even really know too much about The Handmaid's Tale. So it's all a mystery to me, but I'm interested. So I got it. Then next I got the first 6 books in a series, and that series is the March series, and I believe this was like quite popular in like the late 2000s or early 2010s. I'm not too sure when it came out. 2007. Wow. Okay, so this is old. I believe this is about vampires. Yes, vampires. And I'm always looking for a good vampire book. So, I mean, I'm hoping for good things, but yes, I do have the first 6. I think this is the correct order. If it goes Marked, Betrayed, Chosen, Untamed, and then I'm not sure, is it Hunted and then Tempted? I don't really know. The only annoying thing though is that the first 4 books are in like this taller format and they look so good together, but then the 5th and 6th book are shorter and they look different. Like the font's different, which I guess doesn't really matter, but I am excited to read these. And if you couldn't already see, there's 2 authors for these books, and it's a mother and daughter duo, which I just think is so cute. So I'm really hoping that this will be good. Obviously I haven't heard a lot about this series since it is quite old. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog on it. Might be nostalgic for those that read it when they were younger, but I've never read it. And I hadn't really heard of it except like I'd seen a few things on TikTok about people showing their old books. I mean, I'm interested to see. Like, I literally don't have a clue what anyone thinks of this series. So I'm kind of in the dark, but like vampires, come on. Come on, I'm ready, I'm ready. And then next I'll go into the books that I found whilst op shopping. The first book that I got is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Look, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but you know what I mean. She also wrote like that Raven Boys series, which I've always wanted to read, but I haven't actually read anything by her before. And then I found this for $1.50 I got it for actually. And it's in really good condition. So I'm really hoping that I'll like her writing style because I do really want to get into the Raven Cycle, I believe that series is called, because I've heard such great things. So I found this, I'll read this, and then I'll let you know how it goes, and then I might even read the Raven Boys. Next I have this sci-fi one called Defy the Stars, which again, don't really know too much about, but it was $1.50, so I did get it. Our two main characters are stranded together on an abandoned spaceship, and they should be sworn enemies, but they're helping each other get home or something. I don't know why they're enemies, but they are. Enemies to lovers on a spaceship in outer space, obviously. For $1.50 I couldn't pass it up. And I've never heard anything about this book, but I'm willing to give it a go for $1.50. Next I have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, and he also wrote Coraline, which is a fun fact, and Coraline is like very spooky vibes obviously, so I'm expecting the same thing from this because it's called The Graveyard Book. Don't really know too much about it. I'm guessing it's like kind of ghosty and spooky. So ta-da! This one was also $1.50, so that is why I got it, but it also has pictures in it. Look at that, there's some people, but how fun. I just love when books have pictures. Maybe this has pictures because it is like a middle grade book, so that makes sense, but I do love a good picture in a book. But next I have Panic by Lauren Oliver, and I have read one Lauren Oliver book before, which was Delirium, and I really enjoyed that, so I don't know why I didn't continue that series, but I believe this one's like a dystopian. It also has an Amazon TV show adaptation, which I also want to watch after I read this. Actually, I don't know if it is a dystopian. I don't really know what it is. I just guessed it was because Delirium was. But in this one, the seniors in the high school in this small town, they play like a game. I don't know if it's like a scavenger hunt sort of thing, and I don't know if it's like deadly. Who knows? But I'm very interested to see what it's about because I so want to watch that show. Then the next 5 books I will include in this haul anyway because they will end up going on the shelves, but they're actually books that my mum picked up. And this first one is called Still Alice. Interesting. Okay, I didn't actually know what this is about, but it's about Alice, obviously, who is like a psychology professor at Harvard, but then she gets early onset Alzheimer's. So it goes through all of that. I don't know if it's like from her perspective or what it is, if it's third person or what, but yes. Then we have a biography about Audrey Hepburn, which seems quite interesting, and I might actually end up reading the life of Audrey Hepburn. Yeah, it's called Enchantment. Again, these books were all $1.50 each, and then this next book, which again was $1.50, is a memoir, I believe. It's called Before I Die by Jenny Doudna. At least I think it's a memoir. And then this next one actually is a memoir. I think I know that for sure. It's about Albert Facey, and it's called A Fortunate Life. And I believe this is like an Australian book. And I think my mum actually read this in high school, so she got it again because she wanted to read it again. And then we have All the Light We Cannot See, which recently got adapted into a Netflix limited series. So my mum probably won't end up reading this now because she can watch the show. But this one is about World War II. And then the last book that my mum picked up doesn't actually have the dust jacket on, but it is Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee, which is actually the sequel to Kill a Mockingbird, which is crazy because I didn't even know it had a sequel, but here it is. We got this actually from the book fair. It was $5 for the hardcover. And I mean, I might actually end up reading this one if I do end up reading To Kill a Mockingbird. I'm looking at it right now on the bookshelf. I don't know if I will end up reading it. I'm not really one for classics, but I mean, I could try because a sequel, like, who knew? Honestly. Obviously, I heard about To Kill a Mockingbird because it is so popular and because so many people read it in school. Is it common knowledge that there's a sequel, or is that just me not knowing? But those are all the books. They're in huge stacks in front of me now, and I'm gonna have to put them back on the shelf. As you may be able to see though, although I did my bookshelf organization video last week, it has changed a bit. There are some plants dotted around, and I think it looks good. So it might look a little different, and obviously it is quite bad because I do have a whole bunch of books in front of me, 62 to be exact. So I will have to put all these back on the shelf now. But if you are interested in seeing the new bookshelves and how I decorated it like a month ago, before I added the plants, make sure you check out last week's video because we did like a full in-depth organization together. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books and which ones I should prioritize, because obviously I have a huge TBR. I've just added 62 more to my already endless TBR, which was well over 100. So yeah, lots to pick from, which is always a good thing. So if you do have any favorites in here, let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below, because I do post new videos every single Saturday, so you do not want to miss it. But I will see you next week with a new video. Goodbye!